Today on Two Expats What the Fuck, Bogdan talks shit. I threaten a guy that I'll crack his skull open. We talk about moving abroad with your pet, and the nail-biting details of the EU regulation. Bogdan talks shit some more, and I get frustrated with irresponsible dog owners. We talk about my dog's Instagram page, which must get at least 50 more followers, or he will bite me. So please tune in and follow my dog on Instagram. All this and more on Two Expats What the Fuck. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to feed our fragile egos. Two Expats What the Fuck? Your spiritual guide through Expatia. Disclaimer: in traces it may contain serious conversation. Hey guys, you are listening to another episode of Two Expats What the Fuck. Hi Bogdan.
Hi Zoli, how's it going?
It's pretty great. Can you believe that it's been a week already since we recorded our last episode?
Yeah, time flies by when you're having fun.
Yeah, we are.
I haven't really had the time to think about it because I've been a bit stressed out. I'm actually, as you know, I'm going on some courses right now, so I've had a lot to do with them, learning for exams, because next week I have 2 exams. And it's gonna be a bit tough, so I have a lot of work to do, so I'm learning a lot and I don't really have time to think about anything else. But I was actually happy to see the animation from the last video when I watched it. Imola's doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks. I'll tell her, or she'll hear it when she does this animation, but
yeah.
Never mind.
Thank you, Imola.
Yeah. You guys can't see his face, but he's really tired. You can see the circles under his eyes and so on. But still, I am a bit tired as well because I'm trying to start my dog training career here in Germany as well, and I have a lot of shitty bureaucracy and paperwork to do, and it's a bit daunting that they do not believe that I know what I'm doing, so I have to prove it to them,
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's one of the challenges. No, but I think that's one of the challenges when moving to another place. I can say I relate to that because when we moved to Sweden, I was like, I didn't expect, for example, on my engineering degree to not have the same weight, as I would say, not weigh as much as in Romania.
Yeah, I understand that.
Although it makes sense if you think about it, but you do get it like recognized, and you do get like they tell you what this corresponds to in Sweden. This corresponds to this kind of a diploma. Okay, but they recognize your studies and so on. But then in the real life, the issue is that although you do have those diplomas and those studies, and you've worked hard and you work your ass off, as you say, right? They don't really understand it. They don't see it because it's a foreign paper that says, oh look, I'm an engineer, oh look, I'm a dog trainer, but they have never seen that before.
I've always imagined them in their minds, seeing my diploma and my certificates as drawn in crayon, That's the weight of it for them.
Yeah, in real life, unfortunately, it's kind of a bit of that way. I think mostly when you're talking to people that don't have education or the same education as you have, they don't really understand what you have been through to get that.
Hey, we could do a show about this, of how you got your diplomas recognized and what's the whole process in Sweden and in Germany. But today we got a suggestion, and we sort of grown to love your suggestions, guys. Because do you remember a few weeks ago someone said that our show when we drank was funnier and was more enjoyable than the others, so we didn't record a sober podcast since. We take your suggestion seriously.
Unfortunately, today I am going to be sober. I have a glass of water beside me right here, and it's really good. I leave you, Zoli, to compensate for my losses. Okay.
Okay. I'll double down and I'll drink more.
Double down.
The only thing I hope is that this YouTube channel and this podcast will win over some die-hard fans, because if we continue this in a few years, I'll need a liver transplant. So who's up for it? Just leave a comment. Hey, I'll donate my liver to Zoli.
Nah, it's not that bad, is it? Once a week, It's good. It's
it's accept
hobby.
We can
it's the
manageable.
hobby, right?
Oh yeah, and where was I? Yeah, I was just trying to tell you guys what today's topic will be, and someone suggested that we both have dogs here, and we both moved with dogs abroad, and they were a bit interested in this whole process of moving with a dog. So we decided to talk about that this episode.
Yeah.
What do you say? Do you agree?
Ask them, not me, man. I think our listeners most likely will be interested to see at least some of them that do own pets or dogs or in general. I don't know, or the other way around. Pets in general or dogs.
Dogs and pets in general. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. And I'm the one drinking.
At least someone does. Yeah. At least someone does, you know.
But hey, if you do not have a pet or you're not even a pet lover, still stick around because you will get the same stupid jokes that we usually do. So you might enjoy it as well. Who knows?
Or maybe at the end of this episode you'll want to get a dog.
Yeah, that's not out of the question. You know, I have a huge capability of convincing people to get a dog.
Yeah, thank you for that. By the way. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we both have dogs. Our dog is white mix that was, I don't know, homeless street dog. And the funny story with him is that actually Zoli found him, right? Can you just tell the story really short, because I don't know all the details, but you can definitely.
We sort of touched on this one previous podcast of how I found Felix. I was in a factory compound and someone was just walking around with a bag on his back. It was nothing interesting, normal day at the factory, and I just heard that the bag was making sounds, you know, whining sounds and barking sounds. And I was a bit curious about, hey, something's not okay here. And I just approached the man and asked him what the hell is going on. And he said that in this factory compound there is some meat industry, and they will get a health inspection next day. And there were two stray puppies in the compound, and he had to get rid of them because the boss said that the health inspector comes tomorrow and it will be a huge fine for them if they find the dogs.
Yeah, you can have live animals on the factory floor, right?
It wasn't in the factory, it was in the garden or the...
Yeah, I know.
The parking lot, but still. And I said, okay, guy, but where are you taking them? And he said, well, I'll just throw them in the river. I said, with them being in the bag, you'll throw the pups in the river. That's a great plan. I think you did your homework, and it's a solid plan. And I said, okay, let's try another one. You give me the dogs, and I just take them off your hands, and your boss will be none the wiser. And he said, no, he's not sure that I will not release them back into the parking lot, and he'll get into trouble. And I tried convincing him that, hey man, I will not. I'm a volunteer at an animal welfare association. I will take them home. I will try to find them new and better owners than they had until now. But he wasn't convinced, and it went on a bit, this trying to convince him, until I lost my temper. And
that sounds so bad, man. But it wasn't that bad as bad.
Yeah,
as
it wasn't. I just threatened him that I'll break his head open if he won't give me the dogs. And I just got a baton out of my car. This, what's it called in English? This what kind of baton?
Yeah, one of those that's
telescopic batons, you know? Yeah, this telescopic batons. I just opened it because in Romania everyone has one in their car.
No, I didn't have one, man. I didn't have anything. I think I was the only one that didn't have anything. But then again, my father-in-law has like the wooden part of the axe. What's it called? The handle, a big axe handle in his car instead.
That's the least menacing part of the axe, man.
Yeah, I know, but he still has it. So he says, "This is in case you need it." I was like,
"You find an axe head on the side of the road and you need to handle it, or what?"
I don't know. I was supposed to borrow it.
Yeah, if you're from Eastern Europe, then just please write in the comments, What do you have in your car for self-protection?
Condoms.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. So never mind. I just threatened the guy that I'll just bust his head open if he wouldn't give me the dogs. Got the dogs, and I had a lot of work to do that day. So the poor puppies were in my car for about 8 hours. Luckily, it was winter, so it wasn't too hot, and they were behaving perfectly. They didn't make any noise. They didn't destroy anything in the van until I was about 5 meters from parking at my home, and both of them shat a huge molehill inside the car. But they waited until the last second, and we got them to the vet. We checked them for microchips to see if they have an owner or not. Naturally, they didn't have any identification. We gave them the vaccines that are necessary, and started promoting them for adoption. And then you guys came and adopted him.
Meanwhile, all this was happening in your life. In my life, my wife was preparing to get a dog because she always wanted to do dog therapy. She's a psychiatrist for kids, and she wanted to do dog therapy with kids. She believes that's one of the best therapies there are for some types of conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So she was trying to find a dog, to buy a dog. She was very inclined to buy a Labrador or a Golden Retriever, the kind of a dog, because of course I think they're among the most popular dog breeds for some.
Yeah, that's vastly used for therapy and guide dogs.
Yeah, and then I think there's German Shepherds that are also.
Nah, not so much. The Labradors and Golden Retrievers are. Yeah.
And we were looking to buy a dog, and so we found a few. We were looking at them, and then Ruxi, my wife, was a bit unsure, and then she saw this ad on the internet, and she thought they were Golden Retrievers at first when she saw them, because you guys gave them a nice bath, and they were fluffy and white, and they looked really nice. And she was like, yeah, let's go see these. These are for adoption. Oh, poor guys. Let's see what happens with them. And then somehow, in the end, gotten
Felix. Stuck with Felix.
Yeah. And Felix is now doing good. He's old. I think he's 80 years old soon. But old. It depends how you think about it. But anyway.
Relatively
old. And I think Felix's sister was adopted in Germany, but she passed away.
Yeah, sadly she had a
weird blood disease.
She had a strange rare blood disease, and that scared us a bit because we were worried for Felix as well.
Yeah,
but luckily he's okay.
Scared.
So let's just get to the moving abroad with dog part.
Yeah.
Because you guys moved first with Felix, and let's just try to build this up. If you're thinking of moving abroad and you have a dog, it's a really tough decision to make. Are you prepared to do the sacrifices and tackle the problems that come with moving with a dog, or are you not? If the dog is a family member, then there's no question. You do what you have to. You bite the bullet and just do it. But I'd recommend everyone to do your homework, to look up, read about it, read the legislation in the country you are moving to about dogs and dog ownership and importing a dog into that country, because there are a lot of obstacles that might need to be overcome depending on the country you move to. You guys were lucky. In Sweden they didn't ask for anything.
No, not really. It wasn't. There are some rules when thinking about this. You need to understand that every country has its rules. Every country is different, and the rules can apply differently in different countries. And the most important thing that we were worried about was this kind of a strange myth that if everything is not in order, your dog is going to be taken away from you and killed or something, euthanized, right? So that we were fucking panicking about that. I was like, no, how the fuck can they take my dog? I wouldn't let them. First they'd have to go through me. This is Sparta. Never mind.
Over my dead body.
No, never mind. But the thing is, it wasn't the case, of course. It was mostly myth, people talking shit. I don't know, misunderstandings and stuff. But yeah, when we were thinking about moving, we started thinking about how are we gonna do with Felix, with the dog. We really wanted to take him with us, but we knew that there might be a possibility there in which we cannot take him. We knew that we didn't know anything about the rules and regulations in Sweden, so we started Googling, right? And we found out that there are some kind of rules and regulations. Of course, you have to have all kinds of vaccines depending on the country you're moving to. Most countries have the same kind of vaccine requirement, in Europe at least, with a few variations, small variations. And then we started Googling, and we saw that the most important thing, of course, when moving with a dog is that the dog is registered, has an ID, has a chip with an ID number, and has a passport. And in the passport, of course, you have to have all your vaccines to date, and everything should be done by, of course, a veterinarian. Mm-hmm. And so we had started at least with that. We were really lucky that we have always had good contacts in the veterinary world in Romania, because we were friends with you that were working at NUCA, it's called, this welfare association. I'm not sure if we're allowed to promote them or not, but we'll do that. I'll do that.
If we say that you should donate to them because they do excellent work, then I believe they won't mind.
Yeah, exactly. We did donate a few times. We did have luck when we were about to move. I think, was it Sidi and Joby that helped us with the passports? Two very good veterinarians and friends of ours, and Zoli and Nimo especially. And they did all the paperwork. They made sure that Felix has all the vaccines that were needed, and that was the first step. And then again, we had again like more because after that you have to declare your dog at the border, at the border, right? I don't know how it's called, border control, I think. Mm-hmm. So before coming here, you have to declare that you're coming with your dog, and you're coming in that date, in that entry point. And for example, in Sweden, it's the Swedish Board of Agriculture, that has authority when it comes to rules for importation of animals in Sweden, and they have very, very interesting things that you can read about. You can definitely read about them on tullverket.se. There's a lot of advice there on what's important.
Yeah, so that's the main point, that if you decide that you need to move with your dog, or you want to move abroad with your dog, then do your due diligence, do your homework, read about the legislation in the respective country. And if you're a responsible dog owner, then you should already have a passport for your dogs, all your vaccinations in order and up to date, and a microchip that attests that this dog is yours. I believe this is a European Union law, but correct me if I'm wrong. I know only in Romania, Hungary, Austria and Germany, Sweden and the Western countries all require these. Maybe there are some countries that do not, but most of Europe requires these steps to be taken. And before moving abroad, you should consult a veterinarian. You just tell them, hey, this is what I plan to do, and please help me out. And do not hesitate to contact more vets. If you see that one is not serious about it, or you have doubts that his knowledge is lacking, then just go to another one and try your luck to be sure and to ensure that you have every and any documentation necessary to move with your dog.
I think there are common EU regulations that apply to most of the EU countries. And I think there's one other thing, depending on which country you're moving from. In Sweden, for example, it's much easier to move with a dog from the neighboring northern countries, Iceland, Norway, Denmark, Finland, It's much easier to move from those countries because the system is quite similar, and they have like a kind of the same way to handle your pet's information and how they're vaccinated, and they have mostly the same vaccinations and vaccinations programs and so on.
Yeah. So in the large part, your vet should be able to know what each and every country requires. If you are moving a bit further away, we had a friend who was moving from Romania with an Amstaff, that's an American Staffordshire Terrier, to Mexico. That was a bit more complicated, and you should really contact the local authorities, give them a call, shoot them an email, just tell them your story. What kind of dog is it? How old? What documentation do you have for the dog? And when are you planning to move? Because they will be able to help you. And I think you need to plan these stuff out in advance so that you are not surprised once you're there. Because, for instance, in Germany, they are making differences between dog breeds. And in Germany, there are more, what do you call them? I think counties. It's in German, it's Land. It's more of a country within a country, if I can express myself that way. They have different laws, and it's not universal for the entire Germany. And in some counties, you cannot import so-called dangerous breeds, which I hate the definition of these, because it's stupidity in its essence. But they do not allow, for instance, pit bulls, Rottweilers, or Dogo Canarios to be imported into some counties in Germany. And even in the counties you are allowed to import them, you need a lot of documentation and a lot of tests, which was our case because we moved with Limpy, our dog. We'll put a picture of Limpy here, and we'll
three-legged star.
Yeah, the star. I just plug his Instagram profile as well, because he needs followers. He thrives on followers. So if you could hit the follow button on his
share,
Instagram,
subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Just love Limpy. It's 3 paws around the world. So never mind. Yeah. You'll see on the picture. He looks like a pit bull or a cane corso or something like that. We do not really know what he is because he's a mixed breed and we rescued him. So we have no idea what he has in him. And when we first moved to Germany, I just went to the mayor's office and I declared that, hey, I moved here and I want the necessary documentation. And the nice girl just asked, do you have any pets? And I said, yeah, I have a dog. And she was really extremely nice and very friendly. And what kind of dog? How tall? How old? Can I see a picture? And I thought that she was personally interested in my dog. No, bullshit. She was giving the third degree to see what kind of dog do I have. And everything went fine until I believe a week later I got a letter from the state that I need to do this and this because I have supposedly a dangerous breed of dog.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. So you need to be aware of these laws and you need to be aware of those things in order to prepare. Because I had to take a test as well in order to be able to live with my dog in Germany. It was a dog psychology test, animal welfare test regarding the laws of animal welfare. And I had to do this
Animal warfare.
Yeah, warfare. And I had to do this at the vet's office so that they were sure that I can handle my dog. Which I think is a pretty good idea, and I would make this mandatory for every dog owner, honestly.
That sounds very interesting. I think that would be very good for everyone that has a dog to be able to know basic rules, ground rules to owning a dog, or maybe other animals. Of course, there's like different kinds of animals that need different kind of things, but in general, dogs. The issue with owning a dog is if the dog is if you do not know how to take care of a dog and how to educate the dog and how to make sure that he understands what's right and wrong and he doesn't get to decide. You have to decide for him because otherwise it's not really good. I don't know, it's a big discussion about that. But what I think is that it's really important to know how to manage your dog. Because most of these laws and most of these prohibitions about dangerous dogs and stuff, it's unfortunately on it's on the owners. If the owners would have had basic understanding of how a dog works, how a dog's behavior works, then they would have gotten a better chance of having a dog that's
exactly
livable.
And
you can live.
You know how certain dog breeds have a bad reputation? That is because the owners fucked up, and the owners didn't educate their dogs as well as they should have, and they had no idea what kind of dog they have.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so harsh about the fucked up part, but some of them are fucked up. Most of them, I think, they just lack the knowledge of understanding how dog behavior works. So unfortunately, that's the case, and I think that's my point is that you having to do a basic dog test, or what's it called? What was it called? Your test?
Obedience training, or the test I had to do in Germany. It's called in German. It's Sachkundeachweis.
Okay, how would you translate that?
It's an entire word. It's one word.
Okay. How would you translate it in a sentence then?
It's like a dog driver's license or something like that.
Good. Every country should have one, I think.
Yeah, I subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should to our channel.
I already did, man. But I don't watch it. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. So in short, what I was wanting to say is, like, if you were to make a checklist of the things you need to do, mainly for people traveling inside Europe, moving inside Europe, inside of EU countries, like I think there would be like 5 points. Point number 1, the animal has to be ID marked. It has to have a chip, right? Mm-hmm. Or for dogs that are, I think, older than 2011 or something like that, had tattoos or something like that. So either you have to have a chip or microchip or a tattoo, I think. But I'm not sure there are so many.
It's mainly a chip. Even in older dogs, you can implant a chip that's painless.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's like a vaccine.
Yeah. And then number 2 would be the animal must have a valid vaccination against rabies, which we haven't touched about. But in Europe, it's a general rule, I think, that every dog has to be rabies vaccinated. It
differs from country to country. In Romania, I believe it's a yearly rabies vaccination. In Sweden, it's 3 years. You have to repeat it
I think it's bi-yearly. I think it's every 2 years.
Sorry.
I'm not sure.
I remember.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure myself, but it depends. And it is true. Different countries have different regulations when it comes to vaccines and stuff like that. So I do know that it's a longer period than Romania.
Anytime you leave the country, you have to have a veterinarian's approval that your pet, namely when we are talking now about dogs or any other pet, is physically okay to travel and physically okay to go abroad, and that has to be made prior to you crossing the border. I believe it's 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's like, if I were to say, I would say that'd be like the third point. The animal has to be examined and has to have a so-called trade certificate from traces, according to the EU at least. And then you'd have to have a passport, of course. That's number 4. To have a passport, a valid passport where the examinations are written, the vaccinations are stamped, and so on. And number 5, I would say the animal must be reported to the customs when passing the border, at least. I think those are the 5 common EU regulations that apply everywhere. And then most countries have their own little variations.
These are the general rules. I just go on with Germany, for instance. They decided that the woman who was looking at the picture of my dog decided that he might be of a dangerous breed. So I had to go to the veterinary association for him to be checked out. It's not really... They didn't give him a DNA test, but they gave him a good look over, to try to define or determine what breed he is. And as you've seen in the picture, we'll just pop it up again. He has his ears cut and tail docked, and he has a bigger head. So the veterinarian who tried to examine him was looking at us really, really, really
concerned.
concerned and angry, you know, because Limpy was sitting next to me with his ears held up high, and she was like,
with his half ears.
yeah, and I'm not the friendliest looking guy, you know. They thought that I'm an asshole because that's the first impression people get of me, and the second, but never mind. So she gave me a look that just penetrated my soul, you know, that I'm abusing this dog, until Limpy got up and limped to her because he has 3 legs. That's a whole other story why he has 3 legs. And she just melted. You know, she just instantly melted, and she said, no, he has no pit bull or cane corso in him. He's a German Shepherd mix. I said, okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
She was extremely nice, but the problem was that because once they said that he might be of a dangerous breed, we had to have insurance for him because he might attack someone or he might cause damage in someone. So we had to insure him. So we got to an insurance company, and we said that, hey, look, the veterinary association said that he's a German Shepherd mix. But what the insurance company said, no. As I see it from behind this desk, in my expert opinion as an insurance agent, he is a dangerous breed, so you have to pay 24 euros monthly to insure him.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
But I wanted to point out one thing. We talked really short about the vaccinations, the rabies vaccination. There's one there's one requirement for the vaccination. The vaccination has to be done at least 21 days before traveling. So you are not allowed to travel with your dog if the rabies vaccination wasn't done 21 days before. So that's 3 weeks, right? Yeah. So for example, if you have the vaccination shot in the 1st of January, the dog will be allowed to travel in the 22nd of January.
And I believe we just touched on all the legislative stuff of bringing your dog abroad. Let's talk about what you have to consider besides these. These are the EU regulations that you need to move with your dog. The other thing that you have to consider is, how are you moving abroad? Do you have a home
everything
already?
That you need?
Yeah, no, I mean,
shit.
What?
Do you have shit bags? Do you have shit bags? That's the most important thing. Before moving or going anywhere, don't forget the shit bags. You have to fucking take care of your dog's shit. He won't do it. He's a fucking asshole.
Exactly.
But you have to take out the shit.
You have to consider also that as a foreigner in certain countries, it is a bit harder finding accommodations because you're not a local. They do not trust you. At least that's my experience here in Germany. And moving with a dog, it makes it even more difficult, you know, because most landlords do not like dogs and do not accept dogs. And you have to be prepared for that. So just have this in the back of your mind that it will make finding a home, finding a rental place a bit more difficult. And if possible, do it in advance so that you
Make sure
do
you
not
have it before.
Exactly. So you're not in the situation that you already did all the paperwork. You fought the customs and you got your dog in the country you are trying to move to. But because of the dog, you cannot find accommodations. That's nightmare. And that's horrible. So just be prepared for this. We are not trying to scare anyone because honestly, our personal opinion is that I go where my dog goes and vice versa. So I do not move anywhere where my dog isn't welcome. But this is an obstacle you need to think of and you need to overcome.
I think it's like a general rule anyway. In most European countries, I think it's harder to get accommodations, long-term accommodation, if you own a pet. Because if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. A pet, the bigger the pet, the bigger
more
the
damage it could do to your apartment.
It will do.
we just steer back to shitty dog owners and fucked up dog owners who do not educate their dogs and take care of their dogs and tire their dogs out.
They're people.
No, I hate all of them. They should come to me for dog training, and then I love you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I now I understand it, but you're going the wrong. You're going about it the wrong way.
Commercial, man.
Zoli, you're going about it the wrong way. You have to make them your friends if you want to,
No, they'll become my friends once they come to me for classes.
Yeah, that's it. Like the German way. Yeah, you've been Germanized.
Exactly. So never mind. The idea is that you need to think about these things. But hey, I think we've talked enough about the negative parts of, or the problematic parts of bringing your dog abroad. Let's talk about the positive things.
Positive. Let me tell you one positive. The biggest thing for me when it comes to positive, it was when we moved here. My wife was working because we moved because of her work, and I wasn't, and I didn't have a work for a long while, so I didn't really do much. I didn't really have much going on, and just having Felix around and going out for walks and having him as company, that was the biggest thing for me, and it helped me not go into a very deep depression. So company, that's for me the number one, actually.
Especially being abroad, you cannot fight this feeling of being alone and this feeling of abandonment. And a pet,
not belonging, exactly, right?
As we touched on in our last podcast, not belonging anywhere. And a pet can really, really change that and get you out of your slum. And even if you have the most asshole pet in the world who isn't there to support you morally, as I had a Rottweiler like this, he was extremely selfish, but still, you had to walk him 3 times a day. You were forced to leave the house. You were forced to interact with people. And there is nothing better as a conversation starter than a dog. You just find the places where dog owners gather and just show off with your dog, and it's an instant conversation starter. It's a really easy way to make friends.
Yeah.
And if you're antisocial as me, it's a fucking burden because you cannot escape people. Everyone comes.
You can just leave them be, man. Let the people talk about your dog. They mostly talk with your dog. So whatever, man. They mostly cute doggy, and they're talking to the dog, man. So it's fine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm just saying it's fine by me. Talk to the dog.
Talk to the hand.
Yeah, talk to the hand. Yeah. No, but I think it's really, really nice to be able to bring your pet, or even if you think about it, there are people that have moved to new countries and got a pet, mostly a dog
and
or
already
a cat.
There.
Yeah, when just after moving because of the loneliness, or I don't know, people just need company, and the best company animal is, of course, the human's best friend, the doggy, the doggo. So yeah, I do understand people that do get a dog after moving. So very positive. Get a dog if you have moved newly, as you would say, if you're newly moved. Oh shit! Oh my god! I can't really talk English, man. If you've moved not for such a long time ago and you're alone, get a dog. It's gonna help your life balance. It's gonna be
it can be a huge help. Not feeling so alone and having a purpose, and because if you are like
having to take the shit in the bags and throw it away.
Collecting the shit in the bags and
collecting the shit. Meanwhile, you're vomiting. That's good.
That's purpose in life, man. What?
That was me. That was actually me in the beginning. When my dog was
you were
taking
a pussy.
a shit.
You were a huge pussy in the beginning.
Yeah, I know. When my dog was taking a shit, I had to take it, to throw it in the garbage. I had to, I was almost fucking puking in the streets, and people were looking at me. What the fuck's that guy doing?
And the first 2 weeks it was funny for me, but afterwards it was just embarrassing. I said, okay, leave it, I'll pick it up. Just get the fuck out of here,
I'm sorry, man. I'm better now, I promise.
Best and the most genius thing a friend ever told me about dog shit. She has a huge yard and she has a couple of dogs. And the first time she came to visit at our place, and she went on a walk with our dog and had to pick up the shit after our dog instantly after he shed it. She was freaking out that, wow, this is warm. And I was like, what the fuck did you expect? Well, I always pick it up once it's cold already. I was like, fuck me, what did you expect?
Oh shit. I think it's about talking about shit, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think it's really weird for me if I'm going to fucking take this shit when it's cold. It feels weird. Has to be warm. Is that weird?
I think we derailed a bit here.
Yeah, we derailed into shit. Never mind. Okay, good.
Oh, well, we were on the positive side of having a dog.
Yeah, it's actually positive, man. You get
in the winter it warms your hands.
Yeah, it's a good hand warmer. Definitely. And you're always ready with a bag. You know, if somebody needs a bag in any situation, a bag, you know, maybe.
Because as a dog trainer, I had poop bags in my tuxedo.
Yeah, that's good.
I went to a wedding and my pocket were filled with poop bags.
Oh, that's good. Don't remind me. It's so horrible. That moment when you're going out with your dog, you're tired and you have to take out the dog and it's raining and it's like shit, and you're getting the dog really fast and then you have to go and the dog poops, and then you realize, shit, I forgot the fucking bag. Oh my god, I feel so guilty, like the whole world fucking crashed on me, you know. Oh,
yeah, and everyone's watching, you know, and everyone's eyes are on you.
There. Exactly. Everyone has to be there at that moment. Nobody fucking takes a look when I'm taking the shit normally, like 99.9999% of the time. You know, everybody has to be there. The one time my fucking dog takes his shit and I don't have a fucking bag. That's horrifying. That's really
dog
hard.
Trainers tip of the day: always have a bag folded up in the back of your phone. You know that you have a case for your phone and your phone. Put it between the case of your phone and your phone, the folded up dog bag. You're writing that down, yeah? Okay. And
no, I'm just looking at my phone case. I think I have space for two, man.
Yeah, do it, and have a couple in your wallet as well, because
in your underwear.
Your wallet might be left at home when you walk your dog, but no one leaves without their phone nowadays.
Oh,
it's just
only crazy
impossible. People. Yeah, fucking savages leave without their phone.
No, you don't have a phone. What kind of crazy people are?
Yeah, just put a couple of doggy bags, doggy poop bags between the case of your phone and your phone. And another nice tip, it's not related to dog training or anything regarding dogs, but have a bit of cash as well there, because you never know when it might come handy.
They don't use cash?
Yeah, in Sweden they don't, but in Germany it's fucking weird. They do not accept credit cards or debit cards or any kind of plastic in some places, especially in smaller villages or smaller shops. Cash is king.
Long live money laundering.
Exactly.
Nah, just joking. Yeah.
Okay, can you think of any more positive aspects of moving with your dog?
I can think about some more.
Shoot.
No, I won't shoot. Leave me alone. I'm against guns. No violence. No, but about positives, well, I think the positive with moving with your dog is that you still have him, and you're not fucking forced to leave him behind. That would break my heart. So yeah, if you are thinking about moving, just do it. Take the dog. It's gonna be fine. You won't notice big differences. The only huge thing is like you actually need to do some work, some extra work than not moving with the dog. You know, the passport, vaccinations, and so on.
Exactly.
But that's, I think, otherwise just take the dog.
Yeah, just do your homework, do some preparations, call the authorities in the country you are planning on moving to, and just think ahead. And believe me, all the sacrifices you imaginably have about moving with a dog, they just compensate once you're there.
Yeah.
It's
Of course. No, but one thing that I was thinking about talking about talking was really short about dog culture in different countries. I haven't lived in other countries than Romania and Sweden. You know, we've been for a short while in Poland just before moving here, but I can't really say that I was living there. So I would dare to touch a bit on this subject. I do believe that dog culture differs between countries. I do feel like here it's kind of a more restrictive for the dog, so that you accommodate more the people. Although, of course, here is illegal to smack your dog. If you smack your dog and somebody sees you, your dog will be taken away from you, and you might even go to jail, I think. But definitely you'll get a fine. So there's a lot of different kind of rules that come in different countries, you know.
Yeah, might I intervene here? I'm 100% for this. You know, that you shouldn't smack your dog. You shouldn't physically abuse your dog. I agree completely. But the dog culture in Sweden, was a fucking nightmare for me. They are shitting their pants if they see another dog. They do not let their dogs interact, which is a huge, might I say, it's worse. It's not, but for the sake of exaggeration, it's worse than hitting your dog, depriving them of socialization, depriving them of other dog contact, of meeting their fellow dogs, about interacting with them. It's as much of an abuse towards dogs as hitting them, if not worse.
I kind of agree, because dogs, as humans, dogs are like a flock.
They need pack animals.
To be a pack.
They need company.
They need to socialize. But I do believe that unfortunately some of these culture things are most of them, I think, appear out of the fear. For example, in this case, I think there's a lot of people that fear dogs, that fear what a dog is capable of doing. And it's kind of a mirroring of Swedish society, of trying to avoid conflict in that has gone a bit to the ridiculous side,
to the extremes. They're sort of compensating for their Viking times, or what the fuck is it all about?
I believe that might be the case. I have no idea, unfortunately, but I do feel like there's this fear of conflict, so they have to control everything, even when it comes to their dogs, you know. So they just make a short calculation: 1 + 1 = 2, right? If the dogs don't meet, then they don't
there
fight,
will be no trouble.
and then there will be no more conflict, right? So unfortunately, I think that's how I think about it. But I believe you have different kind of culture in Germany, right? I think people in Germany
180 degrees difference. Yeah. And coming back to Sweden a bit, while I lived there, I saw that although dogs didn't get into fights because they were not allowed to interact, they were extremely frustrated. I saw more frustrated dogs in Sweden than anywhere else I've ever lived. It's sad. It's really sad. On the other hand, in Germany, every fucking step you take is regulated. You know, you have to have an exam to own a larger dog. You have to pay insurance for your dog. You are regulated in any ways. But what is nice is that by law, if there is not a special indicator that you should put your dog on a lead, if your dog is controllable, you can let him off lead everywhere unless stated otherwise.
I think in Sweden there has to be a sign for where you are allowed to do that.
No, in Germany there are
many places.
there are these Naturschutzgebiet, that is a natural reservation or certain periods of the year where, for instance, deer are having cubs, or what the fuck are deers having?
Babies.
Youngs.
Babies.
Yeah. Then
Younglings.
you are not allowed to let your dog off lead because they might endanger them. But other than that, you are allowed to, if with the condition that your dog is controllable.
Yeah,
and the police officer has to decide that, if you have to shout at your dog 50 times to come back, then you ought not let him off lead. But if you do like this and your dog is back, then you can let him off lead everywhere. Even, and I've experienced this as well, there was a sign that I should not let my dog off lead, and someone was looking really, really ugly at me because I was letting my dog off lead because I'm an asshole, and they were looking at me like, you're a criminal, and I felt it, and I was, shit, I'm an asshole. I should call him, I should line him, and I should not do this again. And I just said, hey, come here. And the second that I said that, he turned around and came to me, and they were like, oh, okay, it's okay, your dog is controlled, you can do whatever you want. So that's the idea, for you to control your dog.
Good. Yeah, I was thinking about one thing. There's actually quite a few dog parks here. I noticed actually recently that they are, but they're not so marketed. As you would say, you don't find them like everywhere. Oh, look at the dog park. In Romania, the people would talk about, oh shit, they made a dog park, and everybody would know that there's a dog park. So, and I noticed that there is this difference that's being made between smaller and bigger dogs. And my question was directly, how the fuck where's the limit? Where's the limit between a small and a big dog? Is it 20 kilos? Is it 5?
Oh, Germany has that regulated as well. Do you remember the fact that I said that you have to get an exam for a certain type of dog?
Yeah.
It's above 25 kilos. No, 30.
25.
Oh shit, I forgot. We'll ask
if
Imola
it's above
to...
30, my dog is small.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Imola to write that in the animation because I forgot. Sorry, guys. I can't remember.
Well, for those of you listening on the podcast on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're using,
take a look at YouTube as well for this part.
Yeah, take a look at YouTube. Yeah, you'll find the animation and you'll find the information. Nicer there. Maybe, I don't know. People prefer different stuff. So
Imola, please, could you do that? Or future me, whoever is making the animation.
I'm not doing it. I'm studying, man. I'm studying. Leave me alone. Yeah, interesting. Dog lives. That's nice.
I think that's a wrap for today. But hey, if you would like to hear more about dogs or experience about dogs, or you would like to hear dog training tips from me, not a commercial at all. It's not.
Contact me. My number is no.
This podcast wasn't sponsored by me at all. It's not my time, not my money, no.
Yeah, exactly. So contact Zoliet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you have any dog related questions. Which cats? Fuck off. I have no idea.
Yeah, you can ask my wife. That's good. She knows a bit.
Yeah, go to Bogdan. This is wife.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's fine. I just contradicted myself. That's good. Oh yeah.
So what do we have to do? Oh yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, or dislike. I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want.
But share it either way.
Share it. Yeah. Share it with a dislike.
Look at these fuckers. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you guys for bearing with us this long, because I believe we drag it out a bit. So this became a long podcast.
Yeah,
but
thank
you
for
fun
today.
So bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys next week.